it's best to strategically think about who you should connect with. And that could be your goal when you're going to a networking event.
Perfect.
So joking aside, it is to entertain people for me, but it's also to meet those strategic power partners.
Exactly.
And I'm always looking for one or two of them. If you want to think about it as, instead of going to an event to find your golden egg, that golden egg being a client, you're instead going to look for your golden geese.
Yes.
And those golden geese with you in collaboration can form and create and lay, why not, multiple golden eggs together.
Welcome to Talking with Teri TV. I'm your host, Teri Cardula, and on today's episode, we're focusing on the secret to successful business collaborations and why building strong business relationships is the secret to your path to impact. Welcome to the show, CEO and Chief Laugh Instigator to the Dames, Meghann Conter with more.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm just so happy to be here with you today, Teri. I don't know who's going to come out of my mouth today, but it sounds like it's going to be Letitia right now.
Well, welcome, Letitia.
Thank you very much.
AKA Meghann Conter.
That's right.
Okay, well, so Meg and I have known each other for, how many years now?
13, I think.
Yeah, probably, or more.
Yeah.
And you have become just an inspiration, and you've created the Dames, but you've done networking differently. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to just put this I'm going to say this, okay? I hope I don't offend you. But over the years, I have found that networking has not been as successful as I'd like it to be. So when I started out my business, I was doing tons and tons of networking, 6 a week. But the follow-up was killing me. So I ended up, years ago, probably 10 years ago, going done with that. And I picked 2 networking companies. One is yours, and I have another company that I work with. And that is it. That's my networking. That's my hub. That's my tribe. And so I want to know from you, what has been some of the biggest mistakes that people make when networking?
The same things that I did too, which is exactly what you did.
Yes.
Which is going to way too many events, which all I did was basically become a professional wine drinker and a professional coffee drinker, and was constantly walking around buzzed from all the coffee meetings that I was having and the business card stacks that I had, and getting stabbed by other people with their business cards constantly. So I did a similar thing, and I put myself into the networking witness protection program and put myself on hiatus from networking because I was doing it inefficiently too. So I looked at things and I said, there's got to be a better way.
Yes.
Because everyone who's going out there and just trying to give away as many business cards or take as many business cards as possible or sell as many things as they can or feeling that negative feeling of being sold to.
Yes.
Hey, I must have a target on my forehead or on my back or somewhere because everyone is trying to sell me their stuff.
Yes.
And that's what's given networking a bad name for so long.
I'll tell you, I had this, I started doing this experiment where I was networking and I started collecting cards, right? And I would follow up. I have a solid follow-up system, and I would follow up. And at one point, I started putting them in this jar. And at one point, I ended up counting them because I was doing a talk, and I brought the jar so people could actually physically see it. So I had 2,000. So after that, I stopped. But I had 2,000 business cards in it. Take a wild guess how many people followed up with me.
I would say 5.
You are absolutely right. 5 people out of those 2,000 followed up. But take a guess how many I followed up with.
All of them.
Yes, every single one of them, right? And so it was just this really visual piece. And what you said, I remember one time I was in this car or this networking event, and this guy comes in. There was 7 of us sitting in this group. And this guy comes in and he's I think he had a quota to meet, because he comes in and he interrupts, and literally, you talk about business card snapping. He did it right there. He's okay, thanks. And then I'm sure he's okay, boss, I gave up my 30 cards. I'm out. Right? But I think that's the biggest mistake that we make. Mm-hmm. What are some other ones that you have found that are maybe some of your pet peeves?
Well, I mean, I think just networking to find end clients is what I am against.
Yes.
Because it creates that negative environment, and it's unfortunately what we've been taught to do.
Yes,
that's basically what the model of networking is that you're there to go try to find your clients, and that's not the right way of doing things.
True, and I love this because the other day I was at a networking event, and this lady goes, what's your purpose for networking? And you know what I told her? I said to have fun and to get my bucket filled. Mm. And she's like, really? And I was like, yeah, to be curious and to collaborate and to have fun. Like I come with more of an entertainment mind of like, how can I make someone else's day better?
Yep.
And if there's business made down the road, sure, but I'm not going with that intention, but that's happening, right?
Yeah, and I would say
which is so different than what we've been taught.
Yeah, and I do think it's important to have a goal, but I know that you and I are going to talk about this, the archetypes, but each person's going to come in with a different reason for being there. And I'm the same way as you. I love to have fun. So I'm going to come and I'm going to make people laugh.
Yes.
And I'm going to be memorable because of that.
Exactly.
However, the goal...
That, by the way, is a tip for everyone. Bring humor, lead with humor. I'm just saying.
Yes, people will remember it. They don't care about your elevator pitch. They care about you.
And how you made them feel.
Exactly.
Right? Like
and what you left them with.
Yeah, what you left them with. And if they had a great experience, they're going to remember you. So speaking about the archetypes, I know that so Meghann's created this really fun assessment on the different types of personalities in networking. So unpack that and go through the different types and what does that mean? Because maybe you can identify and then you'll have a link, right? So that people can actually go do that for us, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So there are 4 main archetypes. One is Elizabeth. That is for sure 100,000% what Teri Cardula is. The Elizabeth is the person who loves to be the star performer. She's on the stage. She would much rather connect with people, but kind of just be that like fun, entertaining, get connected, and then go about her business. We've got the Clara, who's the helper. You know, she's the one who just wants to really serve, and she would love to have a 3-hour coffee meeting with everyone that she meets to have that deep connection. Then we have Shima, who's the visionary trailblazer. She is the one who's just like, okay, I'm going to meet with this person and this person and this person, and then you're going to put this into my CRM, Mary, and then you're going to do this, Sally, and everybody else is going to do all the follow-up, and we're going to have a system. And then we've got Tiana, who's behind the scenes, who really would rather never have to meet with people in person. She would rather do everything online, meet with as few people as possible, and she's the one who's got the 17 spreadsheets to keep everybody very organized. And then we've got some like mixtures, right?
Yes.
So like in the Enneagram, we've got like an Elizabeth wing Clara, etc.
I know. I was gonna say I'm kind of like a combination of the top 3, right? Like I got a little smidge of this and more of this and da da da.
Right.
Yes.
And then you've got what you learn from that when you actually take the quiz and apply it is, okay, I'm sitting in front of someone who is a Shima or who is an Elizabeth or who is a whatever. How should I interact with this person? What should I lead with? What should I finish with? What do I need to do to prepare for the meeting? Do I need to prepare for the meeting? And how do I really create an effective collaboration with this person?
So question, so I know what mine is, and I forget the test because I was high on 2 of them. So I know mine, but it would be most beneficial if I knew yours too.
Yes.
Okay. So is it best to have that?
Can I walk backwards a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. To explain just a little bit. So in the Dames, and my philosophy is that in order to network effectively, you're networking for power partners. You're not networking for end clients.
Yes.
So you are looking for those people with whom you can have relationships with, business collaborative relationships that can create a lot of different results.
Yes.
Namely things like creating collaborations so that you have basically an expansion of your footprints. So you and I coming together to create an offering that would be offered out to all of our audiences in a collaborative way.
Yes.
That's an example.
Perfect.
You and I getting together, masterminding because I'm stuck on XYZ in my business. You can help me with that. You're stuck on something, I can help you with that. Then there are the relationships where we're going to help each other by cross-promoting because we have a similar audience. So we're going to keep, really getting the hype up for each other. And of course, there's always the cross-referrals that happen as you get to know each other. There's all other little nuances of relationships that can occur, but it's best to strategically think about who you should connect with. And that could be your goal when you're going to a networking event.
Perfect.
So joking aside, it is to entertain people for me, but it's also to meet those strategic power partners.
Exactly.
And I'm always looking for 1 or 2 of them. If you want to think about it as instead of going to an event to find your golden egg, that golden egg being a client, you're instead going to look for your golden geese.
Yes.
And those golden geese with you in collaboration can form and create and lay, why not, multiple golden eggs together.
Let's take a pop, a quick second.
Yes.
And we're going to pause for just a moment and we'll be right back. We're going to hear a message from our amazing sponsor and we'll be right back.
I'm Jeffrey Bowling, owner and jewelry designer at Jeffrey B. Jewelers, Denver's #1 jewelry design studio. And the reason why we're #1 is because of our 3D custom jewelry design. We can show you what your piece is going to look like way before the end product. And this is going to give you the comfort of knowing you get exactly what you want.
He took me over to the computer and we started drawing up exactly what I wanted. And I told my husband, I'm like, Jeffrey B is the person we're going to use.
And the other reason is that all of our gold and our diamonds are ethically sourced. So when you're ready to make that proposal, when you're ready for that legacy piece, go to jeffreyb.com and make an appointment. Because when it's love, it's Jeffrey B.
All right, welcome back. We're here with Meghann Conter with the Dames. All right, we have been talking about the power of partnerships and collaborations. So how does that tie back into the archetypes and the networking personalities that we were talking about earlier?
Yes. So you asked a great question, which was, I know what I am, but wouldn't it be helpful to know what the other person is?
Yes.
So yes, once we get this concept of why we're meeting with people, like, hey, I want to be your power partner.
Yeah.
I'm not here to try to sell you my stuff. You're
Yes.
not here to try to sell me your stuff. We're going to
Yeah.
see how we can be mutually beneficial in this relationship.
Yes.
That's what a power partnership is. So if I know what your archetype is
Yeah.
going into a meeting, or like after I've gotten to know you and I've kind of vetted the crazies out, and I've decided
Thank you.
we're going to
Thank you,
continue. You're welcome. We're going to continue with this relationship. Now I want to know, okay, what is your archetype so that I can be the most effective power partner for you?
Yes.
So it's this attitude of serving others first, as opposed to what's in it for me.
Yes.
So if I know what you are, and I know that you are going to want connections from this, because that is what your main goal is, and that's what your archetype is, that you want great connections, then I'm going to be listening to you and asking you questions that will help me make the best kind of connections for you. And ideally, if for instance, just making this up, that I want to be connected to people so that I can go on stages and speak about certain topics, I'm going to tell you the kinds of connections I'm looking for, the kinds of people I'm looking to be connected to, and you're going to help me with that.
Perfect. So what do you say is the secret to having these business collaborations?
Yeah. So what I think is the most important element is knowing thyself.
Yes.
So both people coming into any kind of relationship really truly understanding our shadow and our limitations and our gifts, and being forthright with those, and also understanding what our goals are for creating collaborative relationships.
Yeah. And you said the shadow, and I just want to make sure that everyone understands like what you're talking about right there. So share that. Just share what you mean by when you say the shadow.
Yeah. So I mean, we're not perfect, pristine beings at all times. That I hate to break it to everyone who's watching this.
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
sorry if this is groundbreaking.
Oh my
I
gosh.
didn't mean to cause stress.
This is such. Wait, what?
I know. I know. But we have little gremlins, and they're part of us, and it's good to know about them, because then they don't come up and blindside us.
Yes.
So that's basically what it is.
And
we have faults.
And here's the thing is that there's going to be times and opportunities and situations that those things are going to blindside us, or we're going to become aware of it for the very first time.
Right.
There's nothing wrong in that.
No.
It's just like, okay, hello, give it a name, understand that it's here to we're here to see it, to transform it, to eradicate
make peace
it,
with it.
make peace with it, hug it, whatever it is that we got to, make friends with it.
Yep.
Because it is part of us, and it is here to serve us in some capacity. And so there's no rightness or wrongness, but you're right. If you have
an understanding,
I have an understanding, or I know what triggers me, or I know what, kinds of personalities that I gravitate towards or not, or, it's all here to serve us.
Yeah. And we can be vulnerable at that point.
And I think that's the juice, right? Is
correct.
that
When you know
able to
yourself, vulnerability is able to be created between two people.
Yes. And you're not having to put on a facade of perfection and I got all of my things put together. It's like, no, I can share my challenges, and we've known each other long enough that you've seen my stuff, I've seen your stuff.
We've seen each other snot cry. We've seen each other laugh uncontrollably.
Ugly cry.
We've seen each other do all the things. But that comes from a space of both of us knowing who we are, and both of us holding the space for each other to show up as we are, and to be vulnerable in that, because then that creates magic between us. Teri, creates magic. And that's what happens when you're in a successful business bestie power partner relationship.
Sprinkle fingers.
This is this new form.
I call them sprinkle
fingers. The new form of spirit fingers. We're not cutting this out. This is absolute gem. gold right here.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so what yummy, juicy information can you share in addition to what you've already shared that can just really leverage wherever anyone is?
Yes.
Where can we leverage them? You know, it doesn't matter what their archetype is. Where can we what's the first step
Yes.
in really starting to put something together and taking action?
So if we want to really look at it as you want to have a strategy that you're applying first, right? So who is it that I'm wanting to get connected to based
I love
on
the strategy.
Yes, based on what my goals are.
Yeah.
What is it that I need in my business right now? And then hopefully you've taken some time to get clear on what it is that you need as well.
Yes.
Because we're all at different stages. Sometimes we need connections for XYZ. Sometimes we need to mastermind our problems. Sometimes we need somebody else to be a mirror to hold up to us as we're working on something, as we're, trying to figure out a new product that we're launching or something along those lines. But then really having a big ask is an important thing here.
And I'm gonna stop for just a second because I think this is so important because when you have clarity on where you're going, so often when I'm networking, I'm always asking someone else because I'm in that mindset of like, how can I help you? How can I support you?
Right.
Is there a tool, a resource, a nugget, a whatever? But oftentimes, I would say about 50% of the time, I'll ask someone like, what are you working on? What can I help you on? And
they don't have an answer, do they?
They don't have an answer.
Yeah.
And they don't have an answer. And I'm like, well, and she's like, I'll get back to you. And I'm like, so I think that's right there. If you're connecting with people, have an ask ready. And
that's part of the strategy.
And it's part of the strategy and say, you know what?
People are going to ask you.
Yeah. I went to a networking event the other day and I'm like, okay, I got to get clear. What is it that I'm going in to ask for? What is my call to action?
Yes.
So that when I'm in this group, I can say, okay, I need help with this. I need help with a personal assistant. I need help with blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I need a connection to this, right? And then it starts to start to open up possibilities in conversation.
And
right?
as women, I think we limit ourselves in those asks. We're like, well, maybe you could just connect me with someone for my podcast who is a person with skin, as opposed to, I really want to interview Vanilla Ice on my show. So if you have any connections to him, please give them to me so that I can get him on my show.
That was behind the scenes. We were talking about Vanilla Ice. So Vanilla Ice, call me.
Yeah, seriously, call her. So anyways, we want to have those big asks. And the more we get practiced in this, the more comfortable we get with it. And then the bigger asks we can have.
Yeah.
But we are wired as people to help each other.
Yes.
So when you come in and you say, what can I do for you? And I'm like, I don't know, I'll get back to you. That just is a big letdown. And what the heck is the point? Right? So have those as in the back, right?
Yes.
But then also it's important to have your systems in place, have the things in place that you need so that you can go ahead and form an actual relationship with this person. If I only saw you once and I never see you again, do you think we're going to ever collaborate or create some kind of an amazing relationship?
And feeling the energy, because I feel like, when you're clear and you're connecting and you're attracting those ideal people, you feel the energy. And then follow up is king, right? Like you got to have, the fortune is in the follow-up. And whether that's just a friendship, a connection, a collaboration, a golden goose, a golden egg, whatever it is, it's still juicy, but you've got to follow up. You've got to do your part.
And you have to be in touch with your intuition first and foremost to know when you're even meeting with this person, if there's someone that you should be connecting with and going forward with.
Yes.
A lot of times if we ignore our intuition, we get into collaborative relationships with someone and then we find down the line that, oh gosh, this was actually not a great relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
So give yourself permission to say no.
Yes.
And if you don't want to move forward in a relationship with someone or you've been in a collaborative relationship and it's not working out for you anymore, I have some tools if you want to ask me for them of like, how do I exit this relationship gracefully?
Yeah.
But really, it's just a willingness to say, this just isn't helping me meet my goals anymore.
Yeah.
Or this just isn't, if I meet somebody who is looking for, sticker reproduction for their business, I will certainly send them your way.
Yeah.
But right now, I just don't know of anyone I can think of to connect you with.
Yeah.
There's a graceful way to exit out of every relationship if you're not feeling it is working for you.
Yeah.
But also, hopefully you've had an adult conversation with them beforehand and you've been clear on your expectations and you've been clear and you've done what you've promised in the relationship as well.
Perfect. All right, this has been absolutely juicy, yummy information. For more information, where can people connect with you at?
You can go to thedames.co/roundtable if you are a woman who runs a 6, 7, or 8-figure business and want to check us out. Or you can check me out on that sounded vain. You can check me out, Meghann Conter, and I'm on all social platforms. But for real, I'd love to talk to you. I'm someone who just loves to share life and business stories very vulnerably and, just connect. So thanks,
Awesome.
Teri, for this.
Thank you so much for being on the show. And for all of you, as always, be bold, be brave, be fearless, be the magic of you. Massive love to all of you. And I can't wait to see you on the next episode. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell to find out about my upcoming shows. Thank you for tuning in today, and I'll see you next time.